rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me, cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Casamigos to the face, baby I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. We have a great show in store. We have Tiffany Rene is going to join us. She told us she's shy, but I don't think she's that shy. So we're going to have fun. Let's throw you under the bus from the beginning. But thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. We got a lot of people in the side chat. Stacy Sutton's here. Droop's here. Michael Bike's here. Apple Glide. Lady Tam. Everybody's here. Thank you guys for showing up today.
Thank you guys. Hi, everyone.
Ray's here. Hope everybody's having a great week. So I guess we'll start it out by putting all the pressure on you. Give us the elevator pitch. Tell us about you.
About
who are you?
Interesting. Let's see. How could I put this? Well, my name is Tiffany Rene. If everyone don't formally know me yet, I do have a YouTube by the name of Tiffany Rene where I do mainly, so far it's been bike heavy. I do own a Road Glide 2021 special. I've been riding bikes for, like I said, I was discussing with Bri here, for about 10 years. But I've only been riding my Harley for about a year so far. And it's definitely been an experience. It's one that I don't regret. I hated that I didn't join sooner with riding. I'm a mother of two, a wife of...
Nice. How old are your kids?
I have a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old.
You got your hands full. So oh, yeah. Oof. Oof.
He's having fun with a house full of women.
Nice. So I'm sure he loves that. Now, you're one of those people that all your pets are female too? Like you're just going to do them in?
That's kind of how it works. Right now, pets, I don't think my kids are going to be too friendly to pets right now.
That's fair. That's awesome. So I guess kind of let's go over your riding history. So where did you start? What got you into riding?
So actually what started, my husband, he's been riding for about 20 years. He's been riding forever.
Okay.
And so, of course, you know, when you start talking to your mate and they're riding something, it's like we went to, I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with Myrtle Beach, the bike week that they hold down there at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So we went there one year and I was on the back of the motorcycle, of course. And I seen so many women riding. And my sister-in-law was riding, and I was like, you know what? I am not coming back down here and I'm not going to another bike event unless I have my own bike.
No, what was he riding at the time?
At that time, he was riding a Zx10. He was still on street bikes.
That doesn't sound comfortable.
No. I mean, it was then because that's all we knew, and it was fun. And he was into speed. When you're into speed, so he definitely was like, I'm not going to teach you to ride because I'm just going to teach you bad habits. And I'm like, you're not even fair. Like, why can't you just teach me to ride? So I took him.
That's actually a good husband, though, because a lot of people pass on, you know, what they would do, and everybody's different.
But still, that's not fair. But I let him.
Okay, fair enough.
I guess it was a point. So
I mean, I could see that. He was worried about you, though.
A little. Well, I guess I would be concerned if he wasn't worried, but
yeah, I mean, he's a good man. So
I had to.
So how long were you dating before you got on the bike?
See, when we first started dating, he had a R1, a Yamaha.
Okay.
No, it was a 600. All right. So when we first started dating, about a week or so, I rode on the back of his bike. So he had been riding for a while. And this is after we've been dating for about, I would say about 6 years or more. Then I decided to get my own. So it took me a while to decide to get my own.
Gotcha. Because I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. And after then, I took my course and it was like, all right, you're ready to go now. And I was like, well, you just could have taught me that, but we're not going to touch on that again.
We could have saved a lot of time.
We
Yeah,
did.
but it's hard. I had a buddy who bought a 1200 Sportster, and he signed up for the class, was all about it, and then he's like, "Well, you got to take me over to a parking lot. I want to learn how the bike works." Long story short, it ended with him in the hospital, and I
Oh,
was like,
no.
"I'm never gonna do this again." Like, I was so against it, and it was a shame because and everybody does it. I did it too when I started. He was doing great. He was just doing big circles in a parking lot. And then he went to change directions and couldn't stop the bike and went over a median and launched it over the median.
Oh,
It's
no.
it's a great story now. Wasn't trying to explain to his
I'm-
wife how he wrecked his bike and is in the hospital, but
Is he
in
still
all fairness,
riding now?
he was hurt. Yeah, he still rides. He still has the
Okay.
same bike.
Good.
It's nothing like taking your buddy to the hospital. That was
I can only imagine.
the best part was you're a nurse too, right?
No, actually, I do CAT scans. I'm a CT tech.
Oh, very nice. I used to work in the X-ray industry. Well, I did support in the X-ray industry. That's very
Okay.
cool. That's a big business. It's a
Oh,
real-
radiology brings in a lot of money for
yes, it does.
hospitals, clinics, and whatever. Everybody comes through to see us.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I started out in X-ray. I did that for at least 3 years, and then now I've been doing CT for like 8 years now. So,
okay,
yes.
awesome. Yeah, it's I don't know. I lost my train of thought, but the I was going to say so. Just assume I said something.
No, you're fine.
That's awesome. So you started to ride, and then you started out with a sport bike, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
I started out on, of course, the Zx10. By this time, my first bike was the Zx10. And everybody's like, why you start out on such a big bike, a 1000 and all that stuff? And I'm like, but the bike is only going to do what I tell it to do.
Mm-hmm.
They are important. Thank you, Stacey.
I give you a lot of credit because I won't lie. I was really stuck in my head. Like I had to start with a small bike. Like a 250 was way too small, but like, 400, 650, I was afraid of a big bike.
Really?
That's impressive.
Well, yeah. And I'm like, well, the bike is only going to do what I tell it to do. No matter how much I turn the throttle, like it's not going to do unless I tell it. It's only going to respond to what I tell it to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely started out on that, and I rode that bike. Well, I rode that bike for about 4 years or so. And then I turned around and got another ZX10. So I guess I was just stuck on it.
Okay.
So I rode that one. And then after a while, after we started having kids, and my husband was like, yeah, it's kind of got the speed out his system a little bit. And he was like, yeah, I think I want to get a Harley. And at that point, I was like, no, those are like for older people. We're not old yet.
Wait, I feel triggered. Hold on a
He
second.
was like, how dare you say that? Like,
The whole
Dad,
side chat just turned on you. You're like, you can't call us old. I mean, we are, but
And then he's like, you can't say that. And I was like, well, I don't want to ride that yet. No, I love my crotch rocket. I don't want to get rid of it yet. And he was like, but I was like, why don't we just have both? And he was like, we're not gonna have time to ride two bikes. And he's like, these bikes aren't cheap bikes either.
Nope.
And then by this time, I still didn't know how much they like cost. I didn't look into it. I was just not invested yet. And then we started looking into it. And then I was like, well, maybe he was like, I'm ready to sit up. I'm sick of leaning over. And he kind of convinced me. And then, like I said, his dad has one. And his dad was like, won't you get on mine and ride it? And I was like, I don't know about that. That bike is heavy. And I got on it and I rode it around the neighborhood.
Do you remember what model it was?
I think it was a 2019 Road Glide.
Okay.
He had a street glide too, and I would not ride the street glide because he had too much done to that, and that one was really heavy. So, sorry, I was trying to read that question.
No, that's okay. So they were asking what upgrades or mods you did to your snake fin, which, by the way, is one of the best damn colors they made on a Harley. I love that color.
Okay, I'll definitely come at that question. I'm going to answer it.
Okay.
Yeah, he let me ride his bike, and I was like, oh, I might can get used to this sitting up. I think I like it. And so from that point on, I started looking, and my husband showed me the snake venom color, and I was like, you know what? If I get a bike, it's going to be that color. If I can't have that color, then I don't think I'm going to invest in getting a bike. And so
that's fair.
went to the Harley dealer, and they found us. Well, we was like, we're going to buy 2. So, of course, they were looking extra hard to find that color, and they found it. So,
Yeah. Once you throw out, we're buying 2 bikes, they're like, let's do this. Oh, that's awesome.
Of course. So, and that's how I got my bike there, because I was like, you know what, this is a comfortable ride. I should have been to this. Why you didn't convince me even harder?
Right? Oh, he didn't want to teach you to ride. He didn't want you to get a Harley. I don't know about this guy, but that's all right.
But
That's
so far,
awesome. You get to do that together. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, and that's it. Well, he was kind of happy too, though. He was like, you know what? Oh, I get you off the back like of my bike, and I'm like, good. So now he wants to. He was like, sometimes he'll be like, you want to ride around town? You want to ride on the back? And I'm like, who does that? No, I don't want to ride on the back of your bike.
Oh, that's cute.
And he's like, why? Like, maybe I want you to ride sometimes. No, well, we're over that part in life yet. So
that's
no.
awesome. That is awesome. So I guess I've never, like I said, the only sport bike I ever rode was the Live Wire, you know, and I tore the hell out. That was a lot of fun. But was it almost I can see the comfort being better, but was it a setback for you as far as the performance? Like, did you find the bike being sluggish?
No, actually, the only thing I could focus on was the weight of the bike. I didn't think about anything else. It was more so just the weight, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, and like I said, you only feel it when you're going slow, because when you're going at a decent speed or just moving, like, you don't feel the weight of the bike. It's not an issue at all. But once it gets slow, that's when it gets heavy. And that is the thing. And then, of course, it kind of sit a little bit higher, because, of course, on my street bike, you know, I had that lowered.
Okay.
So this one, of course, we were looking at, should we do shocks, or like how we're going to modify the height, because then me just looking at videos on YouTube, I definitely invested in some boots with a little heel on it, and that definitely gave me my height adjustment for my bike, and that made me flat-footed. But then after a while, now I'm getting ready to start talking about some of the mods I did.
Sure.
To my bike. We had air ride put on it using the dirty air.
Okay.
And so with the air ride on my bike, it definitely helps me with backing up. Now, without the air ride, when I just had my boots on with the little heels on them, it was okay. I still could maneuver it pretty good. Still backing up was a little challenging for me. But now that I have the air ride, it's definitely like a must, and it definitely made it easier for me to back up. And you know, when you're turning and backing up that bike, the weight of it, you're definitely feeling it, so it makes it easier to handle.
Now, I've never had air rides, so you can lower that at will.
Oh,
so you can kind of drop it as needed. Oh, very nice. Okay. Yeah, it's funny. We talked about this earlier. Having the Ultra and moving to the Road Glide, for whatever reason, the Road Glide's a lot harder to back up, because I feel like I'm sitting higher, and I have the same seat, same shocks. I don't know what's changed, but it's definitely an adjustment.
All right. And see, the thing is, after I got my shoes, and then I was like, man, I still feel like I need to sit up closer on the bike. Everyone were like, well, go try a different seat. So we went to the Harley dealer here in Fayetteville. And they were like, well, gave me the seat that comes on the CVO. I can't exactly remember the name of it, but the seat that comes on the CVOs, they was like, try this one out. They was like, it'll push you forward, and it'll make you sit closer to the tank. And I tried it, and I was like, it wasn't the great. I mean, the seat is comfortable. I'm not gonna tell you, sir, the seats on CVOs are pretty comfortable, but it didn't like make a big enough difference for me to buy that seat.
Okay.
But the air ride made all the big difference for me. So I definitely, for my shorter riders, if you okay with it, because I know some people still have like issues about, they're like on the fence about air ride. But as long as you get dirty air, you're pretty good, and your lines will stay pretty clean. And I haven't had any issues with it at all. And I just have it on the back. I don't have it in the front. I just have it in the back. So it does pretty good for me.
I like that. I mean, especially the fact too that, like you said, it gives you the ability to Pan America has the adapted ride height, where it slows down, lowers, and then as you come up, I could see that being useful even for me, because it's no fun being on your toes. Your toes is never a good feeling,
especially when you have a bike like a road glide and it's so heavy. Like,
Yeah.
you,
Now,
you
so
make
you went from a street glide then. You tried the street glide, right? Did you say you
Nope,
tried a
I've never
street?
road
I'm
glide was
sorry.
the very
I'm
first one. No,
my
I
apologies.
was saying my father-in-law, he had owned a street glide first.
That's what
And
you
I
said.
was
I'm
like,
sorry. I apologize.
that's okay. I tried to get on that, but he had like lowers on it. He had like a lot of extra things on it, and I was like, the spike is even heavier. I can't even sit it up. So at that point, I was like, okay, I don't want a street glide.
Yeah.
And then my husband was like, yeah, we want the Sharknose, and he
Sharknose
helped
for
convince,
life. There you
yeah,
go.
he helped convince me that street glide, road glide is definitely where we want to be. So, which
Yeah.
I'm not upset at all that we got it.
Good. Yeah. The road glide, it does seem to be considerably lighter. It's at slow speed turns
Yeah. But see,
too.
I sat on. We had went to visit the Harley where we had got our bikes at, and down in Florence, South Carolina. And I actually sat on. They had a street glide on the floor, and so I sat on it. And I was like, oh my goodness! But the street glide makes you feel like you're sitting closer up to everything. So I was like, it feels smaller sitting on that bike. Actually, I was like, it feels a lot smaller. But the only thing, like you said, the fairing and everything is together. You feel like you're turning everything. So I was like,
Yeah,
but
that's the one reason that I had test rode a road glide before I bought my Ultra. And that's the one thing that I liked about the road glide was I felt like I was in a car. Like everything was away from me. It wasn't up close. I didn't feel claustrophobic. And I have the opposite issue. I couldn't see the GPS with a full face helmet on the Ultra. So, and you know, if you've ever seen the older GPS, not the new one that you have, but the older one was kind of hokey. It just didn't work. I didn't have CarPlay or anything. So it was always like every time we're riding, I'm like looking down, I'm like, I'm gonna fall off this thing or something stupid's gonna happen. But it's interesting because a lot of people think that, oh, well, it's so far away, I can't touch the screen. I'm like, but you shouldn't be anyway while you're riding.
right. Once you
got
set
thumb
it, but you have all
controls.
the controls right by your hand, so you really
Yeah, and
have
at
to
least
really
yeah,
touch
and at
this.
least for me, once you have CarPlay, you can talk to it.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know, potato.
Yeah.
So have you done any engine mods or just the shocks?
No, I've done like I said, my air ride. I've changed my bars out. Like I tell her, I have
Yeah,
the
let's talk about that. Those
my
bars are amazing.
So, like I said, the style that I have there is real big out in the East Coast, and pretty much we purchased them from a guy that's out in the East Coast.
West
Called.
Coast, right? You said East.
Yes, West Coast. Why do I keep
That's
saying East Coast, y'all?
that's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
I was like, come on, New York's not that stylish. This is not having it.
West Coast, and I've been saying East Coast all night long, like, and it hadn't dawned on me. Sorry, guys. They must have warned me today at work.
We're gonna start an East Coast West Coast battle.
But West Coast, out in the West Coast, by the name of Triple OG. And he said he's pretty famous out there for his bars, and he sells different styles of them. But they're called the 16-inch pullback game changer bars. And like I said, they are definitely, I love my bars. And I get asked a lot about my bars. And some people, like I said, they'll say they look awfully wide. They're really not wide. They're just real comfortable. Like I said, it makes you feel like you just want to sit back in your backrest and just like you're able to just glide what the bike is supposed to do. Just glide down the road because it's a comfortable ride. You can turn pretty easy like on the bike. The maneuvering of the bike is a lot easier than what it was with the stock bars on it. So if anybody asks me, do I enjoy my bars? I definitely love them. I would have got them a lot sooner had I known like it would have made the ride a little bit easier for me.
Sure.
So those are something I definitely recommend. And they're
that bike looks really comfortable. I mean, you're like just chilling back there. It's great.
Oh, it is. It's pretty awesome. What else? I've changed out my turn signals and my my backlights and everything to the custom dynamic like smoke lights.
Okay.
So I've changed those out.
Love their stuff.
Oh yeah, they're pretty good. Got a couple of things I want to get from there, but like you said, this can get expensive. Like, keep buying things.
Yeah, I mean, I say this jokingly, right? Because it's a first world problem. But when we bought the new bike, I'm in the dealership and I'm looking and I'm like, all right, well, that's $1,000. That's $800. And I'm like, oh God, do I want to do this? I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, oh.
I updated my sound system, so I was like, yeah, that was pretty
Oh,
expensive.
talk to me about that. What did you do?
So definitely like the factory was not working because you can't hear anything on it. Like
Oh,
especially when you ride, I'm like, I can't
and
hear
bass
anything.
blows those speakers out quick, real
Yes.
quick.
So I got some PRB speakers. And
PRB, I never heard of
I
that.
didn't want to cut my lids. So we had to like think of like things to do. My husband's like, do you want to cut your lids? And I was like, I do not want to cut the lids on my bike at
Not
all.
those lids. No.
He's like, yeah, I don't think we want to cut your lids either. And so anything he gets, I feel like I gotta have too. So he's like, you know, you're so expensive. Like, why do you have to have the same thing I have? And so I'm like, well, if you get it, then I know it's good. So if you're gonna have
way to play him. Good job.
he's like, you know what, you just expensive. But you know, he says happy wife, happy life, and
There you go.
he just pretty much like
and it's funny you say that because we don't have two bikes, but we have a Revzilla showroom in Philadelphia. And we went there to look for helmets. And I'm like, remember when I thought this was a good idea? And I'm joking because I love that my wife rides with me. But we buy two Shoeies. And I'm like, this was expensive when it was one person. And gear alone is crazy. Not like parts, but
right.
that's awesome. So you mentioned sound system. So did you upgrade your amp? Because I bought my bike used. I'm not 100%. I know it's stage 1 audio, but it's still the Harley one. The speakers aren't that great.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, they're good, but I have a tendency of listening to, I'm a huge music fan, and anything with a lot of bass seems to destroy those speakers. You can tell, like when I put on some Biggie or something, and you can hear the crack in the front speaker. I'm like, man, I got to fix this.
Thank you, HD. Oh, but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to respond. I'm trying not to.
It's absolutely fine.
But yeah, you definitely have to upgrade your amps for that to
What amps did you put in?
Godly, I forgot what they were because we were torn between. It was two different kinds we were looking at, and it's not sound. Is it sound digital? No, I don't think it is. I cannot remember.
Well, that's fine. I'm just curious.
I'm gonna make an upgrade video for my YouTube. Okay. And kind of like go over everything with everybody because I've gotten a lot of questions about where I've got my bars from or like air rods. So I'm gonna make a complete video and put it on YouTube. I just haven't had a chance. Every time I say I'm gonna make the video, then I end up going somewhere and I have some more footage to put out.
No, that's a great problem to have.
But I'm definitely gonna make that video and
good.
Let everyone kind of see the upgrades that I've done within a year time frame.
So do you listen to I was just going to ask the dumbest question. I was going to be like, oh, do you listen to music in your headset? But of course you don't. You have a system. So what's your go-to ride music?
So it just depends on where I'm riding.
Okay.
It depends on the day of the week type sort of thing. So right now, like if I'm on the highway, I listen to like mainly like a lot of 90s.
Okay.
Music, or I throw on my country music. I do listen to or some my pop music here and there, like that's like through town. Sometimes I throw that on a Sunday. I throw on some gospel music. Like I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to music.
See, that's what I want to ride up there. Somebody on a road glide blasting gospel music. That'd be great.
Oh yes. And see the thing is when I play gospel music too, sometimes it has like a little hip hop tune to it. So they're like, what is? Yeah, and they're like, hallelujah. I'm like, yeah. I'm like. And I'm going through downtown, like on a Sunday, playing gospel music. I'll definitely do that. But my music selection is kind of all over the place. But it's definitely a lot of times you're gonna catch me playing some R&B, like some slow music or something.
Okay.
Or I might like I said, step into like the 80s, the 70s, 80s music. I listen to a lot of those older groups too.
It's the best part about digital music. Whatever your mood is that day, you can just find something to listen to.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you have like Spotify or Apple Music, it never ends. There's just such a great selection of music.
Well, see, in the last ride we went on when I rode with the sheriff department, I was riding around blasting my Carrier Underwood, and everybody's looking like me crazy, and I'm like, don't judge me, y'all.
I like that video. I've never seen police gold wings. That was really cool.
Oh yeah, and see, that was the first time I really saw them like close up.
Mm-hmm.
So they were really nice. I was like, oh wow, they're riding in style here.
Yeah, we have I think all the local police departments here have Road Kings that I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, no, there's one of the police departments in Delaware has electric glides, but they're generally Road Kings. And I'm like, I want to see a Road Glide police bike. That would be the best bike ever. You know, there's
Look,
bike.
Look, I don't want to sit behind me, but
well, no, I don't want to see behind me.
Of course.
And I have a Harley. They should never stop me. I paid my dues.
Yeah, I know that's right.
I was at a party the other week. I was talking to a local police officer, and he's like, "Yeah, just to let you know, we have a no pursuit rule." I'm like, "Well, now you tell me." I was like, "That sounds like a challenge."
Right.
Not that my big old bike's gonna run from anybody, but still.
You see, they have to take that course to ride those bikes. I'm like,
mm-hmm. We had Robert Simmons on a few weeks ago, and it's crazy what that man can do with a bike.
Yes, and I watch his videos quite often.
Yeah.
But you can watch him all day and get out there. You're like, okay, it's not as easy as he make it look on online.
No. It's Boss Hog Motors. I'd watch that. I definitely. They're going to spend my tax dollars. Let's do it. Oh yeah, we need to hold on. Can Riding Humboldt County? Can you share Tiffany's link? It is in the description if you guys want to do it. But somebody, if you wouldn't mind sharing it, so they can subscribe to your channel.
Oh yeah.
Please check her channel out. I mean, it's a fantastic channel, and I love what you're doing. So
thank you.
What got you into YouTube?
So
you're like, I need to throw away more money. Let's just buy camera gear. Or?
So what kind of got, COVID happened, and you're like, you know what? YouTube, I find myself on YouTube all the time, and I'm like, it's entertaining. Like, why am I not part of the fun? So, and my husband's like, you know what? You're shy. Did you forget that part? And I'm like, you know what? I am, but at the same time, I think it's something I can do. So, cool. Anytime I tell my husband I want to do something, he's always going to be one of my biggest supporters. So he was like, all right, for Christmas, he brought me my vlogging camera. And I was like, I'm really going to do this. This is like really happening. So
so you have the Sony, right? You have it's that smaller Sony with the built-in lens, right? If I remember correctly.
I can, if you want me to show it to you, I can grab it and show it to you.
Yeah, that's a very popular camera.
Grab it.
Sure.
All right, sorry guys, I'm back. But yeah, this is the camera here.
Oh, very nice.
The top is the camera, but this I have this here. This comes separate where you can the little vlogging stick. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah,
I like that a lot.
The Sony one.
Nice.
So it was my Christmas present, and I was like, you know what? And he was like, well, you got it now, so we're gonna use it. I was like, oh, definitely. So you got to just make a couple videos. Miss Sean Rise, I love her.
That's awesome.
You definitely have to make a couple videos, and I just started, playing around. And then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready now to introduce my bike, and that was probably one of my fourth videos that I finally decided to do. And it's still kind of awkward sometimes, talking to the camera.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, do I look awkward on camera? And he's like, no, hun, you look fine.
I always do you realize you didn't say that right? I know I didn't say it right. It's YouTube. I'm trying, man.
Of course. And so I was like, you know what? Since I can inspire, shorter riders, women, and, because I'm such a feminine woman, I'm not the one to go shop for an oversized t-shirt and be like, that's what I want to wear. And it's nothing against anybody that does, but I had some men, they figure oh, she's too prissy. She's not going to ride a bike. And
yeah.
I'm like, no, I definitely can do that. I enjoy riding bikes. So I get out and ride alongside my husband. And, I have some people, they're afraid of the bigger bikes. And I'm like, you can handle it. You just have to make adjustments for yourself.
And I
And
think that
so,
it's great that you're doing that. And I think that it's great that being a shorter rider and sharing that experience, because a lot of people are very intimidated by that, especially
oh,
women. And we need women in the riding community, right? Because
oh yeah,
we need to be inclusive to that. And I think that it's great that you're setting that standard, because a lot of people, especially with, with a bike your size, are like, oh, I need a Sportster. No, you don't. You just need to learn to ride, and it's not an insult, but I mean, that's the end of the day. We all did, right? If
oh
you
yeah,
upgrade to a bigger bike, you have to learn to ride better, but it's not I think it's great that you're doing that.
yeah. And like I said, I want to like bridge it, try to have younger to older crowd. There's just really no age limit as to when you can start and ride a bike.
Yep.
It's just pretty much if you're interested in doing it and it's something you think you're gonna love doing, you have to try it out and see. I'm 5'2.5".
Oh,
Within
so you
just
got Moto Blonde beat by 2 inches.
yes.
She's gonna say you're not short now. That's
So
the next thing is
you
coming.
definitely like. I'm just trying to like encourage anybody. Like you definitely can ride any size bike you want.
Hmm.
Um, it doesn't matter. And so my girls, they definitely love it. They think it's so cool, and they want
That's
to
awesome.
ride. So it's one of those things. Like you definitely have to have tough skin for the internet, though.
Well, yeah, and I was just talking to somebody like that when I first started YouTube. I was just everything kind of gets to you. You're
Oh
like, oh, this
yeah,
person said that, or this person said that, and I'm like, then after a while, you're like, at least they
and
watched.
that's what I had to like learn. My husband is like, well, babe, and he's like, you're doing awesome. And I at first they were starting to get to me a little bit, and I had him to kind of help coach me through it. And I'm like you said, I'm at the point now. It's like that's whatever. Like it's my bike, it's my money, it's my style, it's what I choose to do. I'm here for those who love it. If you don't love it, thanks for watching, but you don't have to come back. But I
Yeah,
appreciate you for watching. And I'm
exactly.
gonna keep going. I'm here for somebody. I might not be for everybody, but I'm for somebody. And
And
that's
that's
how
the
I look at it.
beauty of YouTube, right?
Oh yeah.
As long as that person continues to produce content, you can watch it. And sometimes some of the best channels are smaller channels, or like the real obscure channels. And I hate seeing people get discouraged, because people
Oh,
will want to be a creator and then they're like, oh, it's too hard, or this person said that I'm fat, or they didn't like my stuff. And it's like, okay, but you know, move on. But
that's it.
it's all going to be good, right? We're
That
going to there's nothing and it's hard. It's very easy to get discouraged with
it
YouTube
is.
because,
It is.
you know,
And just finding the content itself, like to put it out there for somebody to enjoy it. That's the thing. You're having to find to do. And it's like I don't want to just put out anything, and I just don't want to put something out for somebody. I want people to actually enjoy it, and I want to truly make people feel good about their decision about watching it. So
hmm,
it's definitely worth the try to put something decent out, and to, like I said, encourage other people to do it. Because
yeah.
I like the fact not only women, but I had men who were like, you know what, you're that tall, oh, I know I can do it. So they're like out riding as well, and they were like, well, I'm going to take me a course now because I know I can ride if you did it. I'm like, definitely. You
Exactly. And that positivity, well, I think positivity is a harder thing to maintain long term sometimes. You get discouraged easy, or you can get discouraged easy, but I feel like positivity always wins,
oh,
and like you said, if you can get one person into riding, I think that's a win, let alone multiple people. You know what
oh
I
yeah,
mean? And like you said, it's amazing too that how many people look at, they may have a goal of, I want a big touring bike, or I want to do touring, and they get intimidated, so they don't want to do it. It's much like YouTube, right? Everyone watches it, but it's so hard to take that first step and just say, well, screw it. Let's just see what
right.
happens.
And so that's
And at the end of the
what
day, what's the worst that's going to happen?
exactly
You're doing you.
right. And so
That's
yeah, so
awesome. And your channel blew up quick. I mean, you've got
it
what?
unexpectedly,
You
it's
have
like, oh
almost 8,000.
yes, almost there.
Nice.
I'm pushing for it and trying to get that 10 by the end of the year. But
Nice.
thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Yes, I am riding to Key West next month. Um, I'm
Are
doing that.
you really?
Yes, I
That's
am.
awesome.
So, But just doing that, and like I said, I'm like a woman that just likes doing a lot of the men hobbies because, you know, I also own a Trackhawk. So everybody is like, what? Like, so
For people that don't know what a Trackhawk is, can you explain it?
yes, so it is the supercharged Grand Cherokee Jeep. It has
Nice.
707 horsepower. So,
Holy shit. Okay.
but I mean, I love driving it. Like, I
So when you
try.
drop the kids off anywhere, they're like the cool kids because they showed up in like the.
So my kids like get in, they're like, because some, you know, my husband drives sometimes, and he's like, yeah, because he has a F-250, so he'll get in like, yeah, I need some speed, so he'll get in, and my kid's like, Daddy, go fast, and I'm like, yeah, just burn all my gas out right now, but it's no big deal because every day driving to work, I feel like I'm hauling butt. I don't want to say bad words. So I feel like I'm hauling butt to get to work, and it's like, oh my goodness, like stop driving this truck so hard every day. You don't have to.
That's that's the problem with having power. I'm not a speed demon, but the new bike's got stage 2, and I've never had stage 2 before. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna get in trouble because now it's like now I'm gonna go fast because I can.
Right.
It's like,
So, but it has different modes on it, like so you don't have to like drive with that much power every day. But it's just
okay,
there if you want it, if you need it.
I like
But
it.
I definitely enjoy driving it. That's another thing that like I like to do. And we go out to the range. So it's like my channel is pretty much gonna be like travel and just my hobbies that I enjoy doing. And just me as a woman, I just like to enjoy a little different things. So
That's
I'm
awesome, and it's
inspired
great too.
women.
You have something you can do together.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
definitely that.
that's changed the whole dynamic of our relationship. I mean, it's really allowed us to do so much that maybe we wouldn't have, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but you see everything differently. Everything's really different when you're on a bike. And even if it's places you've been 1,000 times, it's so
Oh
much more
yeah,
fun on the bike.
oh yeah. Oh, Ray's Moto, like yes, I am riding with Wood Jr. Went down. So if you haven't seen his page with the breakdown for Key West, that's definitely like the breakdown of how we're
Okay.
going.
Well, check it out. That's going to be an amazing trip.
Yeah, it's quite a few people that are going. Besides, like we kind of like broke it down a little bit. He's gonna take a group. They're going to go like a scenic route once we go through Florida, and then I think we're gonna get a group and just go down 95. But we're gonna meet back up again. But
Okay.
it's definitely gonna be a fun ride. So if anybody's wanting to meet up or from North Carolina wanting to go, like definitely.
There you go. The more the merrier, right?
Oh yeah.
So what is I know you went to Atlanta. Fayetteville. What's the furthest you've ridden? And I guess what would you like to ride? I mean, do you have a goal to do X? Like, do you want to do 1,000 miles in a day? Is there anything that's a big goal for you?
So, far as mileage, I haven't set out to do like a certain amount of mileage yet in a
Okay.
day. You know, you have those iron butt challenges and all that. I said I'm gonna do one of those one day. I haven't quite set out to say like exactly which one I want to do. It's more so now just going places and just like getting further out and riding, just to go see places and just to do what the bike is made for. Get on it and ride, cruise.
Wait a minute.
And
Did you
but
just made a
because I have
donation, or is that your husband's account?
no, at first he was like, "No, babe, I don't think like you want to go there." I was like, "No, I really do." I was like, "I really do want to," because I want to eventually ride out over to the West Coast. I do want to eventually ride to California.
Awesome.
So that is my like ultimate goal, is to ride out there to California.
That would be a fantastic ride.
So at first he was like, "You're not," and I was like, "Yes, I do." So I am
That's
definitely
awesome.
my first road trip, which was down to Atlanta, Georgia. That was the first long distance road trip that I've taken. So now that I'm gearing up for Key West, that's my next one that we're getting ready to take next month.
Nice. How long is that going to be?
So we're going to be riding that over 3 days so we plan so far to get up we're going to leave here Thursday, to go to Savannah, Georgia to meet up with a couple other people.
Okay.
And so we'll get up Friday morning and drive down pretty much to Homestead, Florida. And then Saturday
Nice.
morning we'll get up and ride the rest into Key West
Very nice. That sounds like a trip.
on the weekend of September 30th. We're going
Oops,
down
sorry.
from no, you're fine. September the 17th through the 19th, 18th. I think that's the date. No, 16th through the 18th. 16th through the 18th, yes.
We are both on Instagram. Tiffany, what's your I can't remember. It's
you're fine.
in the description. I couldn't remember what it was called. But it's your name, but it's something else too, right?
It's Free Girl Tip _86.
There you go.
So my Instagram, I do a lot of fashion stuff on my Instagram.
I saw that.
I'm such a girly girl, and I can't get rid of that side of me. So I'm definitely always, yes, I do intend on visit Robert Simmons one day. I do intend on going and taking his class. Like I said, I have little ones, so everything has to be like set out in the time because I gotta get a babysitter. We gotta get things, set up because I have a 2 and a 7-year-old, so I just can't leave them home by themselves. I won't have a house, and who knows what they.
Burn it down.
Oh yeah.
Kids.
Oh yeah. So definitely, yeah, I do plan on taking his class one day.
Nice. Yeah, just to get back to HD, her link for the link for her channel and or for anyone else and Instagram are both in the description.
But yeah, my Instagram is definitely, like I said, you're gonna see a lot of fashion stuff because I'm a girly girl all day through and out, and when I get a chance to dress up, that's what I'm gonna do.
See, and I think that's awesome, right? Because everybody thinks that, if you ride a motorcycle, you can't be feminine. And I think that that's great because it's breaking that standard of what a lot of people think.
Right. And that's the thing. I just want to just express myself and just be that creator. And, I had a guy one time on the one podcast I was on in New York in the city. They were asking his daughter, he was trying to inspire his daughter to ride. And he used my videos to kind of help her see, you still can ride a bike. And he's like, now she's riding. So I think, comments like that and stories like that really inspire me to keep going because I'm reaching somebody and I'm really helping somebody to get out and ride.
And that's really the important thing, right? Is that if you have that reach and you can inspire, I think that's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It's there's nothing worse than someone being passionate about something, but they won't tell you about it, or they won't support you in it.
Exactly.
Because I even ran into that when I first started riding. People were like, "Oh, well, you don't have a Harley." Oh, okay. I mean, sure, whatever you say. I don't tell me something I didn't know 5 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like I said, I mean, it's just thank you. I love to travel. My girls love to travel, so we're always trying to get things out there for them. So we're just prepping them too. So when they get older, they're gonna have their motorcycles, and we're just gonna be out just like a whole family, just riding together because I'm still gonna ride.
And there's nothing better than seeing younger women encouraged to chase their dreams.
Oh yeah.
Because there's so many people that are like, "Oh no, you can't do that." Hell, you can't. You can do anything you want.
Right.
That's awesome.
We'll go out and play in the mud, and then all right, let's go get dressed up for today. So we just love outdoors. We just like hanging out, and
that's awesome.
Everybody.
That's fantastic. So as a female creator, or a female rider even too, what advice would you give to another female creator that wants to start YouTube? Because I would assume and that YouTube as a female is tough. I mean, YouTube as a person as a whole is tough, but I can't imagine you're a female rider on YouTube. That's got to be tough.
It definitely is. It's not easy by far. I definitely would tell them at first, please know why you're doing it. Make sure you're having fun. So as long as you're having fun, nothing else really matters.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun doing it. Overlook the negative because negative is going to come. That was the main thing for me. I had to overlook, like I said, negative stuff. Don't let that inspire you at all. Don't let that deter you because there's so many positive things that you will see that come from it. And as long as you're enjoying it and what you're doing, you're not offending anybody. You're not doing anything that's remotely like something that you're against at all, then do it and have fun with it. If it gets to a point where you're not having fun, then it's not for you. But be yourself at all times. Don't try to be anything or anyone that you're not. Because that's when it gets harder to try to do something, because you have to try to upkeep or implement somebody else. So
once you become a caricature of yourself, it's pretty difficult. I've seen that. I've met some people and you're like, this is a totally different person. Like it's that's not me. It's like you get the good, you get the bad. It just is what it is, you know?
Yeah. And like I said, you just have to always live by the thing of what you're doing might not be for everybody, because everybody doesn't agree. And that's the thing about everybody. That's what makes us unique. Everybody's different and we all take light in different things. So what you're doing is not for everybody, but it's for somebody. And you keep speaking to those somebodies that is for. So that is just my advice to anybody that wants to do YouTube, because it's the internet is huge. Yeah. It's enough space to share with everyone. So definitely do it.
Yeah, and it's hard too, I think, for people, because not everyone's dream is the same much in life, right? Like your dream for your channel may be different than somebody else.
Exactly.
Or somebody that may, live and die that, oh my God, I missed a video and I have to be super regimented. And, yes, we can all argue that you should, but for the growth of your channel, but there's also a life, you're a parent and you're doing 100 other things.
Oh, definitely.
No, I think that's really important, because there's so many people that I think look at YouTube and they look at a her two wheels or a blockhead or something like that, and they're like, oh, well, I can't do that. That's, they got 10 gazillion subscribers. How am I going to do that? It doesn't matter, because you'll find your people. And once you find your people, I mean, there's not a day that goes by, and I'm sure you're in the same boat, that my phone's not blowing up by talking to another creator. And that's the best part of it. Like,
it is. And
the rest of it's great, but that's what matters.
Like where they're at, that's where you're trying to achieve to go and excel past that. Like you always want to, to get better or something. But you can't be afraid to talk to, other creators and other people. Like don't let your pride get in the way where you're afraid to ask for help or afraid to ask or to talk to other people about things. Or some people, they let that pride get in the way. It's like, yeah, I don't want to do this. Or they'll start talking about somebody else or, degrading another. Like, don't do that. Like, ask them, hey, how did you do that? What did you do? Put that pride aside and, and be yourself and figure it out.
I put a video out about that. It's like, you can create or you can hate. Which one's going to win? Because if you're, I was just having this discussion with Moto Noggin this afternoon. If you have time to hate, you have time to create.
That's right.
And if you're hating, you're not creating. So you're now part of the problem. So just
exactly.
And at the end of the day too, like nobody in life gets successful by accident. I mean, sure, there's people that do, but as a general rule, it takes doing the work, and talking smack isn't getting you anywhere. It just isn't,
It does not. But for that longevity, you want to make sure there's substance behind what you're doing.
Yeah. And there's nothing better than seeing somebody else succeed.
Oh, right?
Because especially if it's somebody that you were able to help, and even if it's not it may not be a milestone to anyone else but them, but that's okay, right? Because that's their goal. That's their dream. That's awesome. Your message of positivity just needs to be like echoed to everybody. I think it's great.
Thank you. And look, so are you. Look, you're giving me those words of encouragement, like keep going.
Well, because there's nothing better than those days that you have when I don't know, we've all done this. You put out a video and you're like, this just sucks. My mom wouldn't watch this. And then people were like, oh, this is great. I'm like, oh, thank you. Glad somebody watched it.
Right. And like, and all the people that are here, like you have your faithful subscribers that come and watch, and like I have people here. Thank you guys. Like, thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all just don't know how much like this means to us, for you tuning in to watch us, to hear us, to ask us questions. And I promise you, I'm not ignoring anybody. I'm trying to answer.
Yeah, well, it's tough too, because you're trying to keep up. It's like we're talking, and it's almost like being in a restaurant where you're trying to listen to the people next to you.
Right. And
That's
I
funny.
definitely appreciate everybody. And I see Pow Wow on Moto. He's like on everything. I definitely appreciate that. And it's not like I appreciate and I pay attention to all of that. I read all my comments.
Yep.
And even the negative ones, I read them all. So I definitely respond to every single thing. Sometimes some of them I might not want to, but I try to at least get something out to you. And it's like, okay, thanks for watching. I have nothing nice to say, but thanks for watching.
Yeah. The best advice that I ever got, and it wasn't from it might have been somebody in the motorcycle community, but is that if someone took the time to leave a comment, you genuinely as a creator owe them that to just say thank you.
Right.
You know, because let's face it, that's what they're there. They took time out of their day to watch your video and comment. It's the least you could do.
Exactly.
I don't ignore. See, now they're saying I'm ignoring them. I'm not ignoring anybody. I'm just gonna have a show and just it'll be open mic and everybody can tell me their problems and their stories. We'll fix it. That's awesome. So what's the video you're proudest of? Do you have one?
Do I say it again?
Video that you're proudest of?
The video that
I wouldn't even say proud. What is the video that means the most to you? I mean, do you have an attachment to anything yet?
There's not one that I favor more than the other because I feel like I put forth the effort in everything that I like them all. So like I can go back and watch any of my videos. Now, I had some that like have done better than others, and I was like, wow, I didn't expect that because sometimes I didn't expect to make a video, and I'm like, wow, that video like did that much. I didn't even expect it to like get that many views because it wasn't planned, and it definitely was something that was just like, okay, let's just because I have time right now because you'll find yourself not having much time to even make content sometimes, and but far as anyone being a favorite, I don't really have a favorite because, like I said, I try to put forth the best effort in everything that I pretty much touch.
That's awesome. Well, and I mean, it shows, right? That's how you become successful if you put the effort in. And people can see that if you're faking it, or you're doing it for the paycheck, if you will. And you see that a lot with channels, right? They get bigger and bigger, and then they sort of just they plateau and then something weird happens, you know, and it becomes a job. And then you're like, well, it's not quite as genuine as it used to be, or maybe as inspiring.
Exactly. You got to continue to have fun because if you're not having fun, then it's a job and you're like, okay, I don't really want to do this.
Yep.
But I'm having fun with it. And I'm
good.
Going to continue to have fun. And
so what's your, so what would your goals be for the channel for the next year?
My goal, like I said, is to continue.
10K.
I'm trying to like build my subscribers up, and my tip squad is what I like to call it, my subscribers.
Where did you come up with that?
So one day we were sitting at a table having dinner, and with my kids and my husband. I'm like, y'all, I need something to call my subscribers, y'all. I'm like, I don't want to just be like, hey y'all, hey YouTube. I don't like that. And so my husband was like, well, it's got to be something catchy. And everybody likes to call me Tip around the house.
Okay.
Well, besides my kids, but my family, they'll reference me to Tip. So I was like, so what could I call like Tip and Tip Squad just popped in my head. And
that's
so
awesome.
I'm calling my mom. I'm sending it to my husband. I'm calling my mother-in-law, and I'm like, hey y'all, what y'all think about this name? What do you think about this name? And they're like, I was like, does it sound good? And they're like, well, I gave them 2 names. It was like either going to be Tip Squad or Tip Squad. And they was like, well, Tip Squad is a little too much. You can't say all that. So I was like, okay, which one you like better? And so like everybody like kind of voted on Tip Squad. And that's kind of how that came about. And was like, all right, I'm rolling with it. That's what it's going to be.
That's awesome. I know we kind of wanted to stick to an hour, but can I get like 5 extra minutes? Because I had a question and I totally skipped it.
No problem.
You had mentioned about that you were in a riding club.
Oh yeah.
Talk about that experience. What was that like for you as a female? Because I'm assuming it was both men and women, right?
Yeah, it was a co-ed club.
I was looking for the word. I couldn't find it.
No, you're fine. So it was a co-ed club that I was in. And because like I said, my husband and I were both a couple riding. And if you've seen my video, the guy that Zeke, he is he's the founder pretty much of that club, and they were called the Black Stallions. And he first started out in California. And so when he moved out to Georgia, then he started getting chapters in other, states and cities. And he asked us to start one here. And so I had been riding for about maybe 2-3 years or so. And then my husband was like, well, yeah, and so of course, we went through all the proper channels to get a chapter started here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And we rode with them, and we did the club scene for about 5 years or so, if that long. But then we became parents, and once you become parents, your time is very limited. And
yes.
So I'm like, guys, we kind of take a back seat to it because, we have kids, and I'm not able to, hold up my obligations of attending to all the events and being able to contribute like I would love to. And we don't like to do anything partial, part-time. Like, if I'm going to do something, we're going to commit to it, and we're going to make sure we do it the right way. And because we weren't able to commit all our time to it, so that's why we had to take a back seat and pretty much, and just raise our kids.
Yeah.
Because, we love our kids to death, and
they're only young once.
And so,
that time's
we
precious.
To be parents, and that's how we ended up not being part of the club. But we still talk to everyone. We still, go out to hang out with everyone, but we're on the club.
Now, how did you find that as a female rider? Did you find people accepting?
As a female rider, I to certain ones, I found it, they were okay with it, and they had no issue with it. Of course, you get some, they're like,
sure,
but like I say, I'm gonna inspire somebody. Somebody's gonna love me.
There you go, right?
And I just kept on with it, and I enjoyed it still. So if we didn't have kids, I probably would still be part of that community, because I still would go hang around. We still go to see other clubs. I still go to events, and that's just how
that's
it is.
Awesome. That is fantastic. Yeah, I was just curious what it would be like with a co-ed club, because I know like they have the hog chapters and stuff around here. I've never been a part of that. I was in a loosely formed riding group when I first started riding, and it was just a lot of fun, and it was co-ed, and it was just great. Like you said, you just sort of had that like baked in family.
Oh yeah.
And the weekends, because I had my son, well, even now I can only ride every other weekend. So it was like they knew the weekends I wasn't riding. And so by Wednesday, they're like, where are we going? I'm like, we're going. It was great.
All right.
And it's great. I think that I think you're doing great work. I mean, you have that positive message. Like it's fantastic. Harley Fat Boy Jr.'s like that. That boy, his bike breaks down and he's still smiling.
Right.
I talked to him at Sturgis. He's like, I'm still here. It's okay. I'm like, everybody else would be like crying. He's just like, mahalo, let's go. It's great.
Yeah, watching the video of my husband, I was like, I hope he still goes. I was like, I hate that happened to, because he's just been preparing so much for this, and I hate that happened to him. So I'm so glad he still made it.
Yeah.
I told him, hopefully, I want to make it out there too one year.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Katie and I were talking about that at dinner. I was like, I'd like to go, but it's such a big commitment as far, because if you're on the East Coast, it's a commitment. I mean, it's a couple days just to get there.
It is.
And I don't, like I said to her, I don't, especially with the kids now, we don't have the money to go. And not only the money to go, but it's, to your point, like if I do it, I want to do it. Like I want to have the whole experience. I don't want to go for 3 days and then have to leave.
Exactly.
I want to make the best of that experience, because who knows if I'll ever get back. I'd like to, but that's awesome. So I guess as we wrap up to the hour, where can everyone find you? Where can let's give them. They can find you on Instagram. They can find you on YouTube. You do Facebook, right?
Yes, I have Facebook. I have TikTok.
Nice.
I'm just kind of everywhere. TikTok, I'm still trying to figure that out. That is a whole
you and everybody else.
So, but I'm definitely on TikTok, the same name as my Instagram, Pretty Girl Tip _86. Facebook, Tiffany Rene. You can, well, Tiffany Rene Roan. You can find my whole government on there. Besides, yeah, that's about all the platforms I think I'm on that I remember. Anyway, it's definitely, look, it's a whole job trying to keep up with all that.
It sure is, because you
So,
can't. Yeah. The
um,
worst is when people have different screen names for different platforms, because
but
then you're
yeah,
like, who is this? I have no idea. Like, oh, it's me. I was like, oh, I had no idea.
and that's the thing too. And it was like, my husband's like, okay, we're trying to get my YouTube girl. And I was like, well, I just want my YouTube to be my name. So that's why I kind of got different names on those platforms, because I couldn't have my whole name on my other platform because they were like taken. So I was like, all right,
Oh, that sucks.
right. But it's definitely okay. It's working out pretty good. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. I wish I would have done that, because I think it's a lot more personal. You're not trying to be like a something else. You're just you. I think that's really cool. That's
Right.
awesome. So we can follow you on Instagram. We can follow on YouTube. Now, do you have a pretty strict YouTube schedule, or do you kind of put them out when you put them out?
So I don't have a specific day, but I like to at least once a week. I try to keep a video dropped at least once a week.
Okay.
So because I still work, like I said, I still work. I'm still a wife, still a mom, and time is very
Yes.
restricted here. So I try to get a video out at least once a week. So I haven't dropped the one for this week yet. We're definitely gonna have one coming
Nice.
this week. So make sure you guys check that out once we get that up and going. I am going to be going to, I did want to tell you guys, I do plan on going to an all-female ride here in North Carolina, which is in
Nice.
Charlotte, North Carolina, in like 2 weeks. So that's another ride I'll be definitely doing before I go to Key West. Far as me riding somewhere.
Okay.
Other
That's
than
awesome.
that, I do plan on trying to go to Daytona in October as well. So it's
Oh,
definitely,
see, that sucks, because I was going to go and I had to cancel. That would have been awesome to meet
oh
you.
man, right. Well, that's okay. We have plenty of events that we're gonna make that we're gonna meet.
Nice. We're going to Ocean City Bike Week in
Oh, okay.
Maryland. So that'll be fun. I've never been to an event, so it'll be fun.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know what to expect, but I'm sure it'll be a good time.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always fun when you get to go and you see other bikers.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
it's amazing
I,
too,
I
that
don't think
commonality. People will just talk to you.
right, right. And then until somebody comes up with a camera and I'm like, well, my husband's always filming me because if I hold the camera, y'all are not gonna see anything. So it's not gonna be great.
It's always great when you can hand your spouse the camera and be like, here, you deal with it.
It's gonna be too shaky. You're like, oh man, y'all, I can't see nothing. I can't watch those videos. So my husband definitely has to record, or it's not gonna be a great.
That's awesome. Well, it's great that he supports you. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's like the best spouse in the world to have. Somebody who supports you. That's great.
But yeah, you definitely can check me out. Make sure you guys, if you're not subscribed to him, make sure you guys subscribe to the biker channel. He's
Oh
definitely
no,
awesome.
subscribe to your channel, man. And your channel, you're doing such great things. And so all the
Thank
links will be in the description. And for the life of me, I don't know if Baggers and Brews is live tomorrow or what Monkey's up to, but Denver, the V Twin Life will be live on Sunday. Droop and Dallas are live on Monday. Moto Noggins on Tuesday. I'm on Wednesday. So yeah, just make sure you check out the rest of the creators. And yeah, no, they're trying to get you to come to the Baggers and Brews ride in New Jersey.
you.
They're doing a ride in New Jersey. The last ride they did, it was 100 degrees. It was absolutely insane.
So when is that ride?
It is October 1st.
October 1st. Okay.
Yeah, it's
somebody has to send me the details. So
I don't know that they're public yet. They've been talking about it in their Discord, but I'll get the details too. But that's
Okay.
awesome. Well, I hope we meet in the future for sure. And thank you so much for taking time away. I know. Thank your kids and your husband. I appreciate it. It's you're a busy woman.
Thank you guys for having me. This has
Absolutely,
been awesome. I was
anytime.
nervous.
Nothing to be nervous about. It's that's the best part about this is like everybody just becomes friends. The side chat's supportive and the community is supportive. But no reason to be nervous.
Right.
But awesome. So please, if you guys haven't, check out Tiffany's channel. Tiff, you want to hang around for a second? I'm going to once we end, it'll go back to the green room. But
and could I ask anybody here that has a YouTube channel, can you please drop your channel down in the comments so I can?
Oh yes, please. That's a great idea.
Or I follow you because I definitely love to share the love if you follow my Instagram, you know, I always shout people out. I let people know, you know, of other platforms because, you know, like I said, the internet is huge. It's enough room for everybody. So I'm always trying to share light amongst others so they can get the same accolades.
That's awesome. That's how we should all be. That's today's lessons. Help another creator out. Support where you can.
Oh yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
Let me know, guys.
Awesome. Yeah. So guys, leave a comment on the video and list your channel. Tiffany can check it out. Love support.
Thank
So
you.
guys, thank you as always for your support, and we will talk to you next week. See you guys. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.